Hello, everyone. Great to be connected with you today. My name is Afua Osei, and today we're going to talk about partnerships for your business. Can you do me a favor and in the chat right now, tell me if you have ever thought about working with corporate partners or working with corporate clients? I want to see where people are coming from and whether or not this is something that you have practiced or you have experienced before. So let me know if one, you have thought about doing corporate partnerships, or two, you've never thought about it before. And we are going to get started with our presentation today. We're going to get started. Great. So here we go. So a little bit about me. My name is Afua. I have lived, worked, and traveled to more than 40 countries. Some interesting things about me. I love Jesus, mango, hardcover books, and my niece Octavia, who is 2 years old. A lot of people know me from She Leads Africa, also known as Motherland Mogul Media. And it was a community that I first had the idea for back in 2012 while I was a graduate student. 9 years later, our community reaches more than 800,000 people. We've hosted events all across the continent and the diaspora. And in my capacity as CEO and head of sales and partnerships, I spent a lot of time working with corporate partners. Some of our favorite brands like Netflix, Samsung, Estee Lauder, Airbnb, Facebook, L'Oreal, Google, etc., etc. So somehow I convinced these companies to give me money. And I promise you, I'm actually not even that friendly. So just imagine what you could do with a smile and a solid plan. So that's what we're going to talk about, is how I would do it if I was starting all over again and I was starting from scratch, the things that I would care about and the things that would be important to me. First of all, if you don't remember anything else from today's workshop, I want you to remember that the most important thing for you to do is to be a problem solver. Whether you're in business or in your career, you want to solve problems. You want to fix a problem that others cannot solve themselves. And two, you want to impact a number that really matters to them. In the chat, let me know what you think about a problem that really matters to somebody. And that could be increasing the revenue, that could be increasing customer satisfaction, that can be reducing employee turnover. There are so many different types of numbers that are important. So let me know in the chat right now, what is a number, right? Let me know what is a number that really matters to you, or in the work that you do that really matters to people. I want to see like your comments. I want to see your chat. I want to see what you think, because if you're focused on how you can be a problem solver to other people, that changes the game. It changes how you're able to communicate. It changes how you're able to talk about your value and what you can bring. So you want to think about, how can I be a problem solver and how can I solve this problem in a number that's measurable? So brainstorm, and I know you will have a worksheet. So in your worksheet, I want you to write down this question for you to work on after the workshop. But how can you use your skills, your talents, and your expertise to fix a problem that is important to people and they want to pay for it? I put those two things because they're important. Sometimes we care about problems that aren't top priorities to other people. And if they're not a top priority, then they're not really going to pay it any mind. And the second thing is, sometimes we're working on problems that people don't want to pay for. And they can be super important to you, but if people don't want to pay for it, then it's not going to be a viable business opportunity. So it's important and they want to pay for it. Now, there are three major ways to build businesses. There's direct to consumer. That's something that we're very familiar with. Like, you go to the supermarket, you go to the market, they're buying it one-to-one. There's direct to enterprise, and an example of that is Shopify, in that they serve other businesses. There are some businesses that only work with other businesses. They can't sell to you if you're an individual. So let's say you wanted to buy oil, right? Or you wanted to buy fuel. You're not going to buy a giant drum of fuel. You're not going to buy 100 generators. You're not going to buy 100 kg of rice. You're not going to do that. That's a wholesale. They're going to sell that to a business, and then the business will break it down into smaller parts to sell it to the individual. So business to business or direct to enterprise. And there are some people that sell direct to government or international institutions. And of course, you can have a business that packages and sells to different segments. But today, we're just going to talk about direct to enterprise. So I think many of us are familiar with Dropbox. They are a data storage company. They have products that are just for consumers. They're smaller. They have products that are for enterprise, professional, and business. And then they have products that are for large organizations and institutions. Now, I want you to think about organizations spend millions on external staff, consultants, experts, and products to help solve their problems. So why not you? Why not you? You absolutely can do it. And I really want more of us to be thinking about enterprise or corporate clients because it's so valuable. And I just want to do a little caveat. When I talk about corporate partnerships or partnerships in that way, I'm referring to business. I'm referring to working corporate clients. And the reason why this can be so important for your business model is that you can plan in advance, so you can forecast your revenue. You can do bulk purchases, so you're selling more products or services at once. You also have less customer support and online marketing. So in case you're like, I don't want to be doing Reels, I don't want to be doing TikTok, I don't want to be doing all this content, this can be another avenue for you. And lastly, opportunities for longer term contracts and high value referrals. Many times these contracts are 6 months, 9 months, a whole year. And so you're not always looking for new clients all the time. So I hope you all are seeing like, wow, okay, there's something here. I think I should take a look at it. It could be valuable to me for my business. Now, I want you to remember that there are opportunities in every single field. It does not matter what you're doing. There is a corporate opportunity there. Selling to your audience, recruiting, understanding your demographic, achieving change, branded products, creating content, public image. Like these are just some of the initial ones that I brainstormed like this. But I promise you, whatever work that you're doing, there is a problem for you to solve in that field. And all you need to do is have a solid offer that speaks to that corporate client and not just one-to-one consumers. So I want you to do some brainstorming. So in your worksheet, these are the next questions for you to write down there. What is the major problem that you can help an organization solve? And who is the person in that organization that needs the most help with this? Now, this is important because a lot of businesses, a lot of people will be like, you know what, I want to work with Paystack, right? Let's say you want to work with Paystack. You like the company, they're innovative, they're in fintech, and like, okay, I want to work with Paystack. But what does Paystack actually need? What's the problem you can help them with? Not something generic, and it shouldn't be, oh, Paystack needs more customers. That's too generic. Be specific. And then who in the company has that as an important task for them, right? Who really cares about that? And maybe it's their head of marketing. Maybe it's their head of sales. Maybe it's their human resources officer. Maybe it's the CEO. But you want to really think about who in that organization you want to talk to. It's not enough to have a big company name. You want to dig deeper. So after we brainstorm about the problems that we want to solve, we then want to think about how do we actually make money from it? Because it's not enough to just see a problem. You want to create a compelling offer that is a clear process and a solution, right? The process, this is how I'm going to help you solve it. And the solution, this is how I'm going to make your business better. Most businesses, this is also a key page if you want to screenshot it. Most businesses are just offering a mix and match of the same core elements. Knowledge, experiences, expertise, products, community. For the most part, that's really all people need. So here's some examples of what that may look like for you. Knowledge, your ability to take your insight and your information to solve a problem. Consulting, training, writing, being a creator. Experiences, right? Right now, we're in an experience live. This could solve a problem. It's solving a problem for you because you want access to this information, but it also could be helpful to any brand partners that want to connect with people like you. So that typically an experience can be an email, a podcast, social media, webinars, panels, keynote talks. And of course, there are products. A lot of brands and companies need products. Limited edition, curated, so designed just for them, tailored, like those products that suit their specific needs. So this is just a quick brainstorming. But ultimately, what you do and what you can offer is going to fall into a category that's similar to this. Brainstorm. So on your worksheet, write down this question. Based on the problem that you want to help that organization or that company solve, how can you position your skills, talents, and expertise into a compelling offer? And a compelling offer is something that understands what's important to them, that is measurable in terms of the impact you can provide, and gets them to a solution in an easy process. Like your goal is to remove stress. You don't want to bring something that's so complicated and so difficult that they're like, fine, we'll just do it for ourselves. Because that's the other option. They can just do it for themselves, or they can just let that problem keep going. So you want to think about, how do you position yourself as the solution and put it together into a compelling offer? After we do that, we need to actually be good, right? And this is important. If you want to work with big companies, if you want to build these kind of partnerships, you actually have to be good and do what you say you can deliver. Okay? Do what you say you can deliver. Here are some questions that I want you to be able to answer, right? Do you have social proof? Like, do you have testimonials? Do you have examples? Can someone say, yes, I work with that person? Secondly, what can you offer that other people can't do so easily? If everyone can do what you can do, then there's going to be a lot of competition, and it's going to be challenging for you to really stand out. Third, where do you already have the results, or you already have that reputation? If you've been working in this field in your corporate job, or through your consulting, or by helping people in your community, that's your reputation. Those are your results. And you can absolutely use those activities to have an impact or create corporate partnerships. And then lastly, what do you feel comfortable being held accountable for? Because if you're asking somebody for a big contract, they're going to expect you to deliver. So where do you feel comfortable actually coming through and doing what you said you can do? If you cannot prove those things, right? If I just went through those questions and you're like, I'm not really sure I have any of these, or I'm not really sure what I can say, that's absolutely okay. What you want to do is continue building your skills. Now you have a goal that you're trying to reach, so you can be more strategic about how you build that skill set. Secondly, work with smaller companies. Yes, we have the big brands on top. Yes, we want to build with these big high-profile companies, but there's nothing wrong with building your expertise with smaller companies and with your peers. Look to your left, look to your right, who's doing things that you're interested in, and start there. And then lastly, review your previous projects, review your previous clients, review your previous work reviews, and look for areas of feedback so that you know exactly the key areas that you want to improve upon. Brand credibility is so important, right? People want to work with people they can trust. And I know for sure I don't give money to random strangers. And I imagine that you don't do that either, especially if your job is on the line. Because remember our paystack example, there's somebody in that company who's going to vouch for you, who's going to say, yes, I've done the research and I trust this person is going to deliver impact for our company. They don't want to risk it. They don't want to risk it on you. So you have to do things that, as I described, de-risk yourself. Make yourself less risky and make it easier for the person to say yes. You do that by building your reputation. Here are some reputation assets that can be helpful for you. A clean and professional website for your business, your organization, for yourself. Go and buy your domain name. It can be quite affordable on a yearly basis, but it's good for you to have your own professional home that's not on social media. One core platform, blog or email list where you're publishing at least once or twice a month. A case study where you have been successful in driving business impact, right? Having an impact that's measurable, that helps somebody improve. a testimonial from a previous client or an audience member, or a published media article. When people are searching, and people do this, they're like, someone to help me do this, or they'll ask their network, right? I'm in so many WhatsApp groups, and somebody will say, oh, does somebody know anybody that does this? Does anybody know someone that does this? You want to be top of mind for those referrals. And by having your reputation assets together, that can really help you. Here's an example of case studies that I've used. On one side, you'll see like an influencer marketing type of case study, where I'm giving a brief about what I did. I'm having the key highlight numbers, and I'm showing pictures and links to my impact. On the other side, I have one from public speaking. I'm here talking to you all today. I do a fair amount of public speaking. So if I wanted someone to book me, I'd be like, here's an example of what I've done before. Here's the brief. Here are 2 testimonials from the people that booked me, and here's some pictures. You want people to see that you've done this before and that you can do it again. I want you to know this. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to be high profile. You don't have to have millions and millions of followers. You don't need to be a celebrity, but you do need to be visible in your industry. The people that are making decisions should know who you are and should know how you can solve their problems. Once we build our reputation, we want to now build our relationships. And the people that you want to book you, they're going to rely on your reputation, and they should know you. I want to give you an example. So I had a chance to work with Visa, and this contract came from Jessica. She used to be the head of global innovation marketing and sponsorship at Visa, and I met her in a networking group. I joined a group for other people in advertising, marketing, and sponsorship, and I was proactive about reaching out to people and setting up Zoom chats. Right, this is the middle of the pandemic, so everyone was inside, and I set up 20-minute, hey, I want to just get to know you, and I followed up. And because I had a chance to talk to her, and I wasn't pitching her, I wasn't trying to sell her, I just was getting to know her in that kind of personal way. She said, wow, we absolutely could use you. Here's a partnership opportunity. I said, wow. What a blessing. But I had to be in the spaces. I had to be in the spaces where people like that are operating. So what could that look like for you? Now, I'm an introvert. I know some people don't believe that, but I'm an introvert. See, I created some introvert-friendly ways to build relationships, as well as some extrovert-friendly ways to build some relationships. So if you're an introvert, digital events and workshops are low risk. They're easy. You can just be behind your keyboard talking to people. Joining LinkedIn groups, they're very powerful. People are talking about what they're doing. They're asking questions, and you can position yourself as an expert there. Volunteering with community organizations. I actually met my business partner volunteering somewhere. I was active. People could see that I was out there. And then lastly, submitting articles. That shares your expertise and lets people see that you know what you're talking about. If you're more of an extrovert and you want to be more out there, pitching yourself to speak at industry events and webinars, reaching out to schedule one-on-one calls with stakeholders, thought leaders, commenting and engaging on social media, having a conversation. Now, it's not time to fight. I don't think you should be fighting on anybody's business page, but I think you can't articulate your thoughts and ideas. And when people see your name enough times, they're going to be like, okay, this is someone that I should be paying attention to. The next thing on your worksheet, what I want you to write down is, what are 3 specific ways, be specific, ways that you can increase your visibility in your industry and start to develop new relationships this month. December is a great time. Yes, people are turning down on work, but they're still open and being friendly to get to know new people. People are still brainstorming about what they want to do next year. So don't feel like December is over. You can't talk to anybody else. You don't have to do that. Pricing. I know everybody wants me to talk about pricing. What should I charge? What should I charge? I can't tell you your number. Honestly, sorry. If you came for that on this session, I apologize. You're not going to get it. And the reason I can't tell you that is that at the end of the day, it needs to reflect who you are, the value you bring, right? It's not about what you're worth, right? It's not about, pay me what I'm worth, that doesn't really work. You have to be able to justify and defend the price that you are charging people. And here are some tips that I can provide you with how to think about your pricing. First is your base cost. You need to know about what is the minimum you can even charge, right? What's the full cost? Think about your hours. And many of us, we forget the amount of hours that it takes. We're undervaluing our hours and all the resources we're using. So you should have a base cost. The next thing you should think about is your profit margin, right? Is it 20%? Is it 30%? Is it 40%? You have to put something on top of your base cost. because that allows you to have more resources to invest, to grow, to learn, to improve. And then market rate. It can be hard to know what other people are charging. And sometimes clients can maybe use that to try and manipulate the situation a little bit, to be like, oh, somebody else is charging me this. Well, that's their business. If they want to charge you that, who cares? But it can be helpful to know what other people are charging so that you can decide if you want to be more premium and make sure that your services match that, or if you want to be more mass market and affordable. Okay. So here's what I would do if I was starting from scratch. If I was like, I don't have anything, I'm starting from scratch. Research one company, because you just need one, really. Study their organization and how they work. Are you trying to work with their CSR team, their marketing team, their sales team, their tech team, their leadership team, their recruiting team? Study the organization. Third, brainstorm how your skills can be matched to their current work. Find the team, department, or the person who's responsible for this work area. Send a brief message on LinkedIn asking for 15 minutes to learn more about the industry and where there are opportunities for improvement, because that'll help you see if you're on the right track. You already should have some ideas about what you can do, but you need to get that confirmation that you're actually on the right path. So what should you be doing right now to get ready? Finalize what you actually want to offer. You're going to have a long list. You're going to have a lot of different ideas, but finalize on that one. Next, develop a target list of the 5 to 10 companies that you'd like to work with next year and create a plan to start developing those relationships. Are you joining LinkedIn groups? Are you attending events like this and networking in the chat? And then prepare your reputation assets and look for 1 to 2 ways to develop your profile in your industry. Here's a quick recap, because I know I covered a lot, and I want to leave time for questions. So if you have questions, drop them right now. I'm going to get to them. 1, be in the business of problem solving. It will change the way you view the world and you view opportunities. There are so many people who are out there like, oh, somebody should fix this, somebody should do this, somebody should make this better. As an entrepreneur and as somebody who wants to work with corporate clients, if you see a company not doing something right, if you see an opportunity for them to improve, that is an open market for you. That means there's room for you to make an impact. Secondly, take your time building your skills and building your reputation. You want to have people that can vouch for your skills. So if you're not there yet, that's absolutely okay. Keep working on it. You want to prepare yourself for pitching and making the sale. It takes time to practice having these conversations, talking about who you are and what you can do, and developing that. And lastly, every interaction is an opportunity to learn. If somebody says no, that's okay. That helps you get better. So don't be discouraged. Like, I actually believe that if I reach out to 10 people, only 1 person will reach back to me. It's okay. It takes time. Until you become like high profile and famous, people aren't going to have your time, but that's okay. Every single time you improve, you learn how to do it better, and you move forward. Now, in case you want more, if you want to get access to my framework, if you want to get access to the tools that I have, or any of the templates that I have a pitch season bundle that covers strategy and pitching, and you can access that at afuaosei.com/pitch season bundle. If you follow me on Instagram, you can connect with me at Hello Afua. So if you don't follow me, you can connect with me at Hello Afua, and I'm excited to take your questions and keep the conversation going. Yes. Last plug, afuaosei.com/pitch season bundle. That is the hashtag. I mean, that is the website. So great. So I have some questions. Lined up. And if you have more questions, please do share them. So the first question is, how can you tell a potential great partner before sticking to a partnership deal, especially a deal that needs upfront financial commitment? That's fantastic. So the first thing that I want you to think about is the same way people are going to interview and evaluate you, you absolutely want to do the same thing. It's not enough to just get excited and be like, wow, oh my gosh, they want to work with me. Let me go for it. No. You want to also vet and evaluate them. So you want to review them. You want to have your own criteria in advance. So let me give you an example. And this is, let's say you're going to speak somewhere. Someone is like, okay, I want you to come and speak, do this presentation. you don't just say, yes, I'm excited. You want to ask them some questions. Where is the event? What time is the event? How long is it? What do you want me to talk about? Who is going to be in the audience? What does success look like? Like, you have to have your own questions already to evaluate if it's a good fit. So I want you to take that same approach when it comes to the partner. So think about what's important. Maybe you want to think about their previous track record. So you want to evaluate, how do they work with other partners? You also want to evaluate the team. Do they also have the skills and the expertise to be able to work with you on the team? You also want to see, is this a priority for them? Does it align with what they're trying to achieve? And go from there. So that's what I would recommend that you do, is to think about what's important to you and also evaluate them. The last thing that I'll say is it's okay to test people out. So even if you want to have a long-term major partnership with them down the line, I also would encourage you to think about, what does a short-term pilot look like? What does a 3-month pilot look like? For you to test and evaluate if you even like working with them. So you don't go all the way into a big project, but you do a short-term small project with them first. So I hope that answers your question. If that wasn't clear, drop another question so I can get into it a bit further. Next question. At what point do you tell a partner that enough is enough? That is, it is not working and you would rather change your terms of engagement? That's a fantastic question. So what I'd recommend is, one, you need to have a contract. And you need to have in that contract what your terms of engagement are. You don't want to ever enter into a partnership without being clear on what the KPIs are and what success looks like. I think that's an area where a lot of people get messed up. There's no clarity about how we're going to measure this. So at the end, someone can be like, oh, it didn't work, or I didn't like this, et cetera, et cetera. I think what you also need to do is communicate how people can work with you. Like, are you going to have one check-in meeting every week, and then they'll get a report, and then they'll get access to this? Take your time to really think through the entire process. And that'll help you beforehand to kind of like prevent, hopefully, some issues. Now, let's say you run into some issues. In your contract, there needs to be the clause that allows you to change the agreement. That needs to exist there. If it doesn't, then you'll need to speak to legal counsel to help you out with that. Beyond that, I think you want to have a conversation with the client to say, and it shouldn't just be something that comes out of the blue. Have a conversation with them and come with solutions. So it's not enough to say, oh, I don't like this. Oh, this isn't working. Come with a recommendation and say, right now, the way that we're working isn't the most efficient way or the most efficient strategy for our team. So I want to make some recommendations on other ways that we can work together to make improvements. But come with that recommendation. But the best thing that you can do is make sure that you are prepared in advance and that you get ready beforehand, that you are actually organized and you're thinking about these things beforehand. Okay. Yes. So do we have any other questions? I can take one more question. I also want to drop the link for the Pit Season Bundle. So if you're interested in more trainings, if you're interested in learning more about this, I will share the link as well. And I will ask the moderators to share this as well so that everyone can access this. One thing that I do want to share with people, sorry, friends. One thing that I do want to see more people doing is that a lot of people think that you have to be a big, famous company. You have to have all this kind of stuff to work with corporate clients. And I absolutely disagree with you on that. Start with smaller companies first to build out your structure, to think if you even like working with these people. It also will give you the chance to test out how you like to engage with people, how your own team model works. And then that will keep you from having to go through a lot of stress when you work with bigger clients, right? Like when you practice upfront with smaller companies, it'll help you do that. Some of the areas that I know are major opportunities, that are like major opportunities, are one, talent management and recruiting. This is so important. People are struggling with finding good people for their companies. They're also struggling with recruiting those people. They're struggling with training those people. They're struggling with keeping them engaged. And so if you are in the career and people management space, I think that's really important. A lot of people also are interested in financial services. So if you have skills that align with that, that's also another great opportunity. If you are also active in the marketing digital strategy perspective, that's a great opportunity. So there are a lot of fields that are growing. All it requires you is to think about, how can I solve a problem for a company in this area? How can I step up? How can I create a process and an offer that solves a problem, and how can I position it to them? I think that's absolutely okay. There's so much opportunity for you there, and I'm excited for you all to go out and get it. So if there's no more questions, I'm gonna give you all like 1 more minute to submit questions. If not, please do connect with me and engage with me on social media. My Instagram handle is at Hello Afua, and I'm gonna share that in the chat as well. And if you'd like to connect with me, if you're interested more in corporate clients, brand partnerships, please do connect with me there. And I'm excited to see all of you all like figure out how this could work for you, for your business, and for the area that you're interested in. Okay? No more questions? No more questions? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much to the Reach team. And thank you so much for the opportunity to come and connect with you all. And I'm excited for you all to have some really incredible success and move forward in your business and your careers. Take care, everyone. See you and goodbye.